Teams are going to be first and foremost, and their roles will be huge today in this Ivy League opener for both these two. At the face-off top, Marc Psyllos will get the start for Cornell, and Angelo Mcmeekin for the Tigers. And we're underway. Mcmeekin wins first possession, and we'll get a chance to see Princeton on offense. Mcmeekin trying to get rid of it. He eventually does. Princeton up early, 1-0, and it's a Cornell team defensively. They've had their struggles this year, Kark. 60th in the country in scoring defense, giving up over 13.5 a game.
Yeah, it's been a struggle for them, putting a lot of pressure on Nust in the cage, a first-year starter. And it's interesting to see how many face-off men we'll see in this game too, Cotter. We could see up to 5 total between the two teams. The biggest problem for Cornell was losing Jack Cascadden. I think the coaching staff, Matt Madelon and Jimmy Mitchell and Jeremy Hurst, they're doing an amazing job with this group. Really only playing one senior in the offensive zone. And, you know, you have Gianfrancaro back as a netminder, but also there's so many fifth years, Princeton alums playing using their last year of eligibility elsewhere in the Division I landscape that are standouts. So they're just reloading. They're doing an amazing job recruiting and identifying talent. You know the talent that's out there playing fifth years that were at Princeton. The Jake Stevens and the Sam English of the world that are at Syracuse, and Bo Pedersen and Christian Ronda at Michigan, Alex Slusher at Duke. You mentioned Vidaro at Georgetown. It's crazy how they're reloading.
Yeah, reloading. And
it went from dead last in almost every offensive statistical category in the PLL to #1. You look at his offenses at Princeton, they're unbelievably balanced.
Mcmeekin won it out front. That's a shot from distance.
16.
Almost like a basketball move, Cotter.
For
a two-man game, there's so much potential and options when you're dealing with the pick game, because you have to respect the dodging ability of C.J. Kirst. So you're so concerned about the switch or playing Kirst as a dodger. This time he uses the pick game as a passer.
Psyllos is going to come up with another face-off win. Big red look for early offense. Gil Martin. The freshman gives way to Long. He is, I think, to your point, Kark, he's kind of one of those momentum players. When he starts to get that momentum, he just feels like he's unstoppable, and in many respects, oftentimes he is.
Yeah, imagine him being a high school running back, too, because high school football on Long Island isn't Georgia. It's not Florida, where some of these linemen are, 300 pounds. Huey Kelleher playing running back in Long Island is like rolling Derrick Henry out on the field.
I guarantee you, I don't know for sure, but I guarantee he was a two-way guy, too.
Caught with his feet moving and doesn't get back to stick side strong enough.
Second of the year for the Big Red, unassisted 12-27.
You saw Gianfrancaro's numbers at the top of the show. I mean, 5th in the country in save percentage, 15th in goals against average, top 10 in saves per game. He sees a lot of rubber. But he's not off to a great start here today. 4-2 Cornell on top.
No, this isn't typical of his play. He's rarely getting beat stick side. And that last shot, those guys will be tested with Matthew Tully in the cage.
Yeah, it's been Tully and not Wyatt Nust in net for Cornell. Tully got a little bit of time last week in Cornell's loss.
At 114.
Firth from Ottawa. Of course, wearing that 51 for the Big Red. Jeff T coached him in high school at the Hill Academy.
Playing midfield right now. I think long-term he projects as a... But that play was a little bit of a taste of the future, too, because Ryan Goldstein grew up his entire life wanting to play at Cornell. His dad, Tim, so proud of that moment.
Physical play, you might expect that between these two teams. 86th meeting between these two.
This rivalry is deep when it comes to Ivy League lacrosse. Two alumni base is so proud of these teams, and they're out in full force today.
Psyllos has done really good on the whistle. He's had a hard time keeping possession. I think he's getting the better of Mcmeekin.
He is. That's why in college, only a freshman, you have a well-established attack line at Cornell. When you think of Michael Long and C.J. Kirst and Danny Cadigan. But I'm telling you, Ryan Goldstein's too good to keep off the field.
Well, now Michael Bath carries the ball into the offensive side for Princeton, and these Tigers.
And that little drop plant foot allows him to get to the middle of the field and shoot at such a good target and way more net.
This time Cornell goes with Petrakis at the dot. Big battle for the ball in the middle of the field. Won by Liam Fairback. That was an outstanding job by Fairback to keep possession.
He's tough as nails. Another grow. And Tucker Wade. It gives you the balance you need to make a run in this league.
Now 2 in a row for Princeton and a face-off violation against Cornell.
See that shot of Mcmeekin. He's doing some time in the weight room. He's your kind of guy, Connor.
Yeah, well, a lot of Fogos are.
And 12-20.
Thing of beauty. Tully saw it all the way and he couldn't do anything with it. Had a great look at it. There's no deception at all. It just beat him.
We got a ball game.
That we do. 2:29 mark here this first half. 3 in a row from Princeton. They're feeling it. Got the crowd back into it.
Earlier, wearing 19 just like his dad did at UNC when he was a 3-time first-team All-American. Also the MVP of the World Lacrosse Championships in Baltimore in 1998. You talk about an old-school midi. You'd be hard-pressed to find a guy who did it as well as Ryan Wade in so many different categories. He faced off. Defense is working so hard to chop the middle of the field, and he rolls back to his offhand in the lefty snipe. Man, 19's got some upside.
Just his second start of the season. He's had 5 goals in these 2 starts. That's a shot. Backed up by Burns. Final minute.
I watched his high school highlights a year ago, and I remember talking to Matt Madelon saying, wow, like jaw-dropping stuff, creativity, the ability to get to the rack. They got a star in the making in number 2.
The Tigers down a
star for Matt Madelon.
Look at John Fricaro, only 3 saves in goal for Princeton. He had a rough goal, but at the start, maybe settled down a little bit towards the end of that first half. Let's see if he can continue to improve as this game progresses. We're underway here in the second half. Face-offs were roughly even in that first half, and this is what they've been a lot like. A lot of battling for ground balls and loose balls in the middle of the field. This time, Princeton comes away with possession. Palumbo's second of the day. Beats Matt Tully, who got the starting goal today, 55 for Cornell. Still in there to start the second half. 2 quick ones from Princeton. Mcmeekin wins it to himself and beats Tully.
He had one last week. If you give him time and room, 32 just cuts right through the defense. They don't pick him up because they're worried about Mcmeekin at the point or from that lefty wing. If you come off of him, you're leaving the best shooter from that spot, maybe in college lacrosse. So Connor, it's pick your poison. They're daring Mcmeekin to shoot that, and he makes them pay.
Mcmeekin really exploded on the scene at the end of last year. Was all Ivy League tournament in those 2 games that Princeton won to take home the tournament crown. And we get a loose ball violation here against Princeton. So Cornell, a little bit shell-shocked, giving up. Palumbo continues his day. And now Mcmeekin is really starting to take control of the face-off die. Wins another one to himself, takes the shot, does the onslaught out of the midfield continues. Psyllos tries his hand against Mcmeekin. Possession to Cornell. Box needs some help, and he's going to find it in Psyllos. Sheehan gets the assist on the goal. That breaks a long scoreless drought. Mcmeekin wins it back. John Ficaro now gets it started. Outstanding play off that face-off.
He has seen it all
42.
during his career at Cornell, and he's such a smart player, using that defender who's flashing out at him as a screen.
Psyllos battling. Cornell went over 15 minutes in between goals, Clark, but they have 2 in the last minute and a half. They get 3, bounces it high. John Ficaro got a piece of it.
Such a driving force behind rallying the team and the awareness to fight the brutal disease, and so inspirational to see the entire team essentially get behind him and the cause. The fight never ends. The Michael Sowers of the world and the Mikey Powells do. They don't let you touch them. They get you in space, and their first move is so electric that matching the feet's impossible.
Psyllos has done a nice job winning it to himself. Now can he keep it? Responsible for the lion's share of scoring. Did see players like Kirst and Long and Goldstein start to really heat up for Cornell in that third quarter. Maybe that continues in the fourth. This has been a good battle. Mcmeekin has got a goal in this game, and at times he looked like he was going to take over, but Psyllos has been really good.
What frightens you if you're an Ivy League coach?
Good look at Tucker Wade. I wonder if his dad, Ryan, could grow a mustache like that back in 1991 at Chapel Hill. Picked up by Syracuse. By Princeton. In that kind of a weekend.
Both wear orange, I'll give you that, Cotter.
Thanks.
Goals in the second half.
Mcmeekin wins it. Back to his goalie. John Ficaro goes down to his knees to pick it.
You know, there's something to be said about a shooter. When you have wrists like that, the rules don't. I'd rather see Gio right there stare down the shooter, get into his base, and find the middle of the cage. He's cheating when he's cheating. His feet are choppy. He's losing his spot.
Michael Long from Walker Wallace at 6:48.
He puts these defenders on skates and just embarrasses them with quickness. If I'm coaching Ryan Goldstein moving forward, I'm just saying, play in space, young man. No one can touch those feet.
We're down to 5 minutes.
Matt Dooley runs the field knowing that it's not time to sub. The clock is not your friend here. He brings it down and he sticks it for the biggest goal of his career. That is unbelievable. Princeton's so concerned about Kirst and Long and Goldstein. Dooley says, it's my time. And they steal one on the road.